Thank you for auditing the always positive new music review show hosted by a French professor who gets to review the new album, the new 2 songs by Billie Eilish, Guitar Songs. I am going to call these 2 songs an album for a reason that I will get to soon. Now it's kind of fun, my daughter's coming back from camp today. I'm very excited to see her, and Billie Eilish is her favorite musician. Kind of a cool sort of synergy. I didn't know if I was going to review these things because I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready to have my 3rd child. It's going to happen in a couple of weeks, and I have all these things to do. And I had to go take my car to get the alignment fixed, get some new tires, real adult stuff. And the place that I went is like 2.5 miles away. And I was just going to bring my work, my work emails, all that stuff, lesson plan, all the stuff I do in the summer. But instead I thought, wouldn't it be nice to just listen to these songs and walk all the way home? So that's what I did this morning. At 8 a.m. in the morning, I walked 2.5 miles, listening to the same 2 songs on repeat for an hour and a half. My very pregnant wife has a very special pillow that she needs in every car that she's in. So I actually walked with this yellow pillow the entire way there. I'll get to the pillow soon. The thing about this album, and I am going to call it an album, because it has sweep, it has scope, it has consistency, sort of like from song to song, is that I wouldn't say that this is some kind of huge growth. I wouldn't say that it's any kind of great regression. I would say instead that it's just sustained excellence. It's what Billie Eilish and Phineas have been on. If you haven't watched any of my Billie Eilish videos before, I consider Billie Eilish to be 2 persons. Okay, that when I say Billie Eilish, that means a person, but when I refer to music, Billie Eilish means Billie Eilish and her brother Phineas. And I don't know, someone left a snarky comment. I mean, I welcome all comments. I read all comments. I don't respond to all of them. But saying, you better credit Phoebe Bridgers for this. And I don't know, I sort of see that, but I don't really think so. I think that this is a natural development of this group where you have a good guitar player and a good singer-songwriter and have them go together. If it reminds me of anything, it maybe reminds me of Taylor Swift. That Taylor Swift has been making this move towards more acoustic, more like music that can be played by human beings without the help of a computer, and that's what we have here. And it's a great reminder of the true strength of Billie Eilish the group. They are light infantry. They don't need anything other than each other and a guitar to make great music. That's a pretty rare thing right now. Most people need a computer or a production team or fellow bandmates. There's very few people out there that can do something and be so light. And that's what we have with this album of 2 songs. The album is called Guitar Songs, which makes sense. It's all played with guitar. My daughter's coming home. She'll have a little bit of time at the end of this summer, pretty busy summer. I'm not going to force her to learn how to play these songs on guitar. I am going to heavily encourage. I am going to print out the chord charts and the tabs and see if she can learn how to play them. And the reason that I say that these 2 songs are an entire album is that, taken together, they provide a pretty interesting meditation on life and happiness. One song is about wasting your life in self-pity, and the other is in embracing life because of its tenuousness. I've been working on this theory, this sort of cute way of saying something, and I talk a lot about appreciation and happiness. And the thing that I came up with today is that appreciation is the only active ingredient in happiness. So, if you have toothpaste, the only active ingredient is fluoride. Everything else is just for flavor, for color. You get your Advil, it's ibuprofen. That's the active ingredient. The stuff that makes it taste good, that makes me have to save it for my dogs, who are actually on the porch right behind me. So if I seem distracted, it's because they're just running around and chasing each other on the porch. Right now, they're barking at my neighbor. That's the active ingredient. And the active ingredient to happiness is appreciation. Everything else, love, friendship, money, a job, anything else there is really just dressing. It's just flavor. And what I think these 2 songs show in this album, one song shows an inability to appreciate, and then the other song is a great wail of appreciation. a great statement of appreciation and thankfulness. So let's get to the songs. I'm just going to have a little sip of coffee here. Keep going. Early in the morning. The dogs are doing well. They stopped barking. They're just out there sniffing. Let's talk about the first song, TV. The acoustic guitar that opens it up is very simple. Eventually, some bass and drums come in. Apparently, Phineas is playing all of this, which I really like. It feels like it's a real drum set, a real bass line. Like this funny band where they're completely just DIY underground basement musicians who happen to be pop superstars. It's pretty lucky. Musically, it ends in a pretty fascinating way with this sing-along, with these repeated words over and over again, and an audience singing along and clapping, which is great because it's sort of at odds with the theme. Like the song is about alienation and feeling alone and the inability to connect to people, and then you have this bit at the end where she's connecting with thousands of people, and it's unsaid. It's not even said in the song, but in reality, this is the saddest ending you could possibly have because she's saying, maybe I'm the problem, and thousands of people are clapping along, and what she really needs is that real human connection, that real, that's where love comes from. It's from real human connection, not because people like my daughter can sing along, or because people like me can comment intelligently or unintelligently about her music. One thing I really love is that the clapping goes off beat, and that's, I'm a drummer, and I did used to play, and I would never ever encourage an audience to clap. It's the most frustrating. They go off beat immediately because, especially with the echo and the way the Doppler effect works, you can never have people clapping properly. So I like that you actually hear that. For the most part, we have a doubled, sometimes tripled Billie singing here. The melody ascends at a kind of unpredictable point. And these are some of, I believe, her best and most honest lyrics. I'm going to tell you the truth. I was like this close to printing out all the lyrics and going over them line by line. And then I did. So here we go. I don't want to talk right now. I just want to watch TV. Perfect. Perfect line. Perfect lyricism. Completely honest. We've all related to it. Many times, even though I love my wife more than anything in the world, sometimes I just want to keep watching my damn YouTube video and I don't want to engage or talk, okay? But she goes in a little different direction. I'll stay in the pool and drown so I don't have to watch you leave. Her sort of extreme reaction here, her sort of hyper, almost emo lyrics are kind of funny. I put on Survivor just to watch somebody suffer. Maybe I should get some sleep. This kind of detail work is great. I remember when Survivor became famous. I didn't really watch it. I appreciated the fact that they featured Pontiac Aztecs, which is one of my 5 favorite cars. But beyond that, I never paid attention. But still, this little detail here, it reminds you of this thing about Billie Eilish. That she is this transcendent pop star, one of the great pop stars of all time, and definitely of our time. And yet she's also just kind of a nerd who watches too much television. Right? She will constantly remind us of that, whether it's quoting The Office or whether it's this. And let's be honest, this is relatable. On my other channel, I just did a whole review of the show Loot, and I watched a lot of TV. It's just great. And maybe I should get some sleep. This sense that you really get that she's really in a desperate state. It's late at night. She's just watching TV, and she's watching it to watch people suffer. She's really painting herself in a bad light. Sinking in the sofa while we all betray each other, what's the point of anything? So what I like here is the drowning in the pool, and then she's drowning in the couch. And I like how there's an equivalence drawn here, that really they're the same thing, that she's not actually dying, but she's spiritually dying. And I'm pretty sure the lyric here is incorrect. I found this off some website. I think it's sinking in the sofa while they all betray each other. Because people on Survivor betray each other, but then also she betrays. So maybe it's we, maybe it's they. I think it's both. And then the chorus, all my friends are missing again. That's what happens when you fall in love. You don't have the time, you leave them all behind. Tell yourself it's fine, you're just in love. This is talking about the phenomena which I am fascinated by, which is the way that people isolate when they get in couples. I do it. You probably have done it. Everybody does it. They tend to isolate themselves from their other friends. And that can be great, and that can be fine. Like right now I'm in sort of like this very protective mode, and I'm just very focused on being with my wife as we're getting ready for the child and all that stuff. But in general, it's sort of us against the world, and I love my friends, but to a certain extent, that's a healthy way to be. But in a codependent relationship, which I've also been in, but I'm not currently in right now, that is extreme. And instead of like cutting people off because you need to focus, it's like you cut people off because you couldn't stay together, because you have to sacrifice something in order to keep this relationship alive, because there's some kind of equivalency between love and pain that's drawn up in your mind that forces you to excise everybody that you care about from your life. And that's what she's describing. And that's why I said I had to print out these lyrics, okay? Because this is what, the 10th line? And we've already gotten this deep. This great guitar playing behind. I particularly love that you can hear Phineas sing along in the chorus, because I imagine, I don't know, but I imagine who's the first person to go? It's got to be Phineas, her best friend and brother. Don't know where you are right now. Did you see me on TV? I'll try not to starve myself just because you're mad at me. Interesting here, she's never, okay, as far as I know, she's never talked about having an eating disorder. As far as I know, she's one of the most positive, or at least she was before she... No, she is one of the more positive female figures for fighting body shaming, despite her Vogue pictures, which I was a little bit upset about because I liked the fact that she was very conscious about not focusing on her body, but whatever she wants to do is whatever she wants to do. Who am I to judge, right? That was where I ultimately landed on that. But still, this does imply an eating disorder, which is scary and sad. And I'll be in denial for at least a little while. Beautiful. Just great. Like, this is a great reminder of the kind of songwriter Billie Eilish is, because she can have these very serious, very precise lyrics about watching Survivor late at night on the couch, okay? Very specific. And then we have this general, cutesy line, I'll be in denial for at least a little while. I've never heard these things rhyme like this. I'm sure they have been. Tell me in the comments. Oh my God, have you smashed the like bucket yet? Would you please? And could you please subscribe to me? Because I talk about all sorts of great music all the time. And even if you don't like me, the music's great. So, I don't know. Just subscribe. What about the plans we made? The internet's gone wild watching movie stars on trial. This is interesting because this is obviously a reference to the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial, which I think was a very important moment in understanding abuse and the fact that men can be abused, which they can. I wonder, I think this is intentional. I think this is because that sort of is a very toxic, bad relationship. So I think that she's trying to draw a kind of connection here. And then while they're overturning Roe v. Wade, this just very much makes this a very specific moment in time, which I really like, how really rooted it is in actual now. Then it gets to the end here, and I don't get along with anyone, maybe I'm the problem. So this is what I'm talking about the active ingredient to happiness is appreciation. Because clearly, like, she doesn't appreciate her friends, or she can't appreciate her friends because she's in these kinds of relationships. She isn't appreciating her life and the things that she has because she's just wallowing in self-pity. And then she ends it with this idea of maybe I'm the problem. Which reminds me of Morrissey, to be honest. This feels to me, I think these could be Morrissey lyrics. And I don't get along with anyone. Maybe, sorry, the dogs, when I started singing, the dogs looked at me like this. And I don't get along with anyone. Maybe I'm the problem. They're still looking at me. Toby is, dogs don't sweat, but he's really hot out there. And he's doing the thing where he's smiling and panting at the same time. But I like this bit here because it's the truth, that she is the problem in this relationship. And I also like how at the very end she changes from maybe I'm the problem to baby I'm the problem, which is also accurate. So there's the song TV. A great journey, a very, very sad song, a very, very moving song. And I'm telling you, I listened to the song. I listened to these two songs on repeat for an hour and a half, and then I came home, and then I cut my wife up some strawberries, and I made myself some coffee, and I kept listening to the songs. My wife said, aren't you sick of these songs yet? And I said, I'm not sick of these songs yet. I don't know how they do it, but I did not get sick of these songs at any point. Next song is called The 30th, and it has just guitar the whole way through. In the credits, Phineas gets credits for playing bass and drums. I don't hear any drums and bass on here. Maybe that's an old version. The melody and the guitar interaction does remind me strongly of the song Your Power. So it's maybe a little repetitive from their catalog. But I only had that opinion on like the 7th listening. So it's not that strong, right? And then there's this issue of what these lyrics are. They're very meaningful. And it's about an accident. Sometimes I look at you and you look the same before the accident. Starts off in this low register, and then in the verse it goes up high, that great trick that Billie Eilish can do. I mean, she's teased for being a whisperer, but really there's so much strength in her voice, even when she's whispering. I don't think she counts as a whisperer. This leads to a fairly traditional for Billie Eilish descending chorus. But it's all about this accident. And here's the thing. It's called The 30th. And I'm sure every single Billie stan out there knows precisely who this is about. Precisely what this is about. She has a friend who had a car accident on the 30th. Maybe it was June 30th. Maybe it was May 30th. I don't know. And I'm going to tell you one more thing. I don't want to know. I'm not going to look it up. I don't want to know. This song has its power in its specificity. But its real power is in its generality, its ability to apply to everything. Because this is really a song about appreciating life, about narrowly escaping death. And that's what makes it so powerful to me. So it's so painful and personal that I even feel like I shouldn't be listening. One thing I will say I don't like is how she keeps on talking about how this person is pretty. But like, is it really pretty? Is it really nice to say to someone that they look pretty after an accident? There's so much emphasis on the physical beauty of this person she's talking about. She probably doesn't look the same as she did before the accident. Or he doesn't. I don't know. I don't know if she's talking about a man or a woman. So like, is that really a compliment? If she knows she looks different? I don't know. I would be annoyed. I'm just going to say that. If I had an accident and something happened to my face and someone made a song and said I looked pretty and I felt ugly, I'd probably be annoyed. But the real strength of this song, there's a couple of strengths. One is the details. Like she talks about being in a standstill on the 5. So like when you live in California, traffic is like you can't know what it's like living in California until you've lived in California. So I've lived in Oakland, I've lived in Santa Barbara, and I've lived in Los Angeles. And it's just traffic is just such a part of your life. And one of the main reasons for traffic is accidents. And it's this weird thing, it's just this part of your life that people are going to live and die constantly on these highways. And you, at least I used to always think, like, what if I was the person they were talking about on the radio when they said there's an accident? You know, there's an accident on the 5. Like what if that was me? You know? Or what if that was somebody I cared about? And that's what this little moment is in this song, where she talks about being on the 5. And if you're not from California, the 5 is like the most important highway probably in the entire state. It's funny because it starts up north, and then it goes down south, and it gains a definite article. Up north, it's 5. It's Route 5. But then at a certain point, there's an invisible line, a definite article line, where all of a sudden it becomes the 5, which is what it's called in California. It's very weird. So, you know, like we can all relate to seeing an accident. And especially if you're in California, we can all relate to being in unexpected traffic because of an accident. And then we realize that it's about someone she cares about. And then it leads into this bridge. This bridge where it's talking about it could be worse. What if there were kids on the street? What if there was no guardrail? What if there were kids in your car? The power of this section really should not be underestimated. I think it might be the most powerful thing that Billie Eilish has ever recorded. There's this like slight vocoder voice in the back. It's multiplied many different times. If things were different, would you have survived? You're alive, you're alive, you're alive. I feel the joy of that. But part of why this song makes me hurt so much, part of the reason why it legitimately made me cry the first time I heard it, is because people die in car accidents all the time. All the time. Probably. I don't know, a tenth of the people who are watching this video have had someone close to them die in a car accident. I mean, it's that common. So to have a song that celebrates someone living through a car accident is so wonderful and is so necessary and is such a great way to appreciate life, because we should appreciate every accident that we don't get in. But then to think about the pain that all those people must feel who listen to this and don't get to sing, I'm alive, you're alive, you're alive, you're alive. It's very painful. But it's very meaningful. I think it should be made. I think it's positive that it exists. And then the final lyrics are just so honest and good. You know, it's a repetition of this chorus. I saw you in the hospital bed. I remember you said you were scared, and so am I. Just the reality of being scared at this point. And then the song ends with this little detail. This little detail, which I love. Oh, by the way, this is the greatest toy you can ever find. They sell it all over the mall. It's very useful for identifying your emotions. Look, TV. The 30th. The song ends with a particular sound. So this is a guitar. It's actually, I love Fender. I only own Fenders. I got the Billie Eilish Fender ukulele for my daughter. I have a Jag Stang. I have a Stratocaster. You know, I have a P-bass. But this is a garbage guitar. I got this for my son. I don't know. This is made in China. It's not very good. But there's a sound at the end of this that is completely the sound of a guitar pick, like this, dropping in to the F hole. Okay? It's this sound. And that is so funny to me because it happens all the time when you play guitar. You're playing, you're like, I'm alive, I'm alive, and you drop your pick in the guitar. I love that little detail. It's a reminder of the goofiness of these two. Now, and then you have to do this thing. You have to try to get the pick. I got it. You get the pick out of the guitar. I'm alive, I'm alive, Okay. And there we go. Until now. Oh, you probably want to see the dogs. Billie Eilish fans like dogs. Let's go check them out, huh? Let's go see how these... Oh, look at him. I told you he had the smile. Toby, are you making the smile face? Come on, boys. Is it too hot out there? All right, there's the camera.